Oh, hello there. I almost didn't see you. You must be here for the game, aren't you? Well, come on then. Let me introduce myself. I'm the Red Box. Some people know me as the Cowboy Pineapple. What you call me, that's really up to you. Here, this is why you came. Genetic Drift is this side-scrolling sandbox game. You explore, survive, and adapt to a large and dangerous world. I've been working on Genetic Drift for way too long now. It's been around 11 months to get to the point that we're currently at. It'll be around one more to get a proper Steam page up, and maybe 2 months after that to finally release a beta that I'm actually certain that people will want to play. Don't get me wrong, I'm proud of what I've managed so far, but I definitely hope to have finished this project up sooner. You are joining me a bit late into the actual process. I've already made the engine from the ground up, but we now get to focus on the fun and interesting bits of adding new content and ideas. To catch you up, so far we have these 6 unique biomes: the ocean, the forest, the mountains, the alpine forest, and the jungle. Each biome has something that it's better at than the other biomes. The jungle will be more dangerous but have more structures that contain rare and special weapons. The mountains are hard to traverse, but they're much more rich in the rare ores. We still have a lot left to do, as you can see, and we're working upwards from the biomes to fill them out with creatures, structures, and unique things to explore. Most biomes will eventually contain their own faction, a living civilization that has evolved to match their environment. They aim to kill you and your people, and you must fight back. For now, we only have one faction that's spawned randomly within the world. Periodically, they fight by setting up a base near one of your NPCs, and if you don't clear them out within a day, they launch an attack that you must fend off. A key aspect of Genetic Drift, and the meaning behind the title itself, is the ability for everything in the world to adapt and evolve over time, in a sort of responsive way. Every time a creature dies, it gains experience based on how it died. So if you fall off a cliff, the next life you have more health, so that same cliff is less likely to kill you. The creatures you interact with get stronger over time, and you must stay ahead. Right now, I've been working on the weapons and tools that will be found within the world. I spent a bit too much time sitting at my computer coding all this over the past month or so, and so I decided to get a little notebook. It lets me get away from technology and out of the house while I think of things to add, and I've been enjoying that process and converting the ideas to actually functioning items. We already have a few generic swords in the game that can be made from the various ores you find around, so I wanted to make a sword that was a bit more unique than that. I wanted to make it so that the katana creates these thin strikes wherever the cursor is on screen. The first step was to do some cheeky pixel art, making both the katana icon and also a decent looking slice texture. To make the weapon actually work as desired, I made a new entity that stays in one spot and would randomly rotate itself around the cursor when it was spawned in. Then all I had to do was make a new one of those katana entities whenever the item was swung, and we were done. Small side note, I spent like a day trying to figure out why the hell the slice wasn't showing up, and I still don't have a clue what caused it to not work. It just randomly did work and I didn't say anything. Next on the list is the Thorndent. It's a thorn trident, I just mashed the words together. I wanted something that would be found within the jungle and would make sense for that. So the weapon would have to apply a poison effect to anything that it hit. This one was much more simple than a katana. Items already have an animation object in them that handles the item's X, Y, and rotation relative to the player. To make the Thorndent stab towards the cursor was just some simple trig, finding the angle between the player and the cursor, and then passing that in to rotate the Thorndent. But the biggest problem was actually getting the collider to match up. I had originally added some code that changed where the item rotated around, depending on where the player was looking. However, the actual collision system didn't have the same code, so the two mismatched when facing to the left. This wasn't typically a problem, as the difference was pretty minor with things like swords, but because of how long and the odd angles that the Thorndent would strike at, it was super obvious. After fixing this, I added a way to offset the collider from where the actual item was drawn so that they could visually match. My code is typically closer to unripe pasta than anything else. I did manage to quickly whip up an effect system and create a poison effect that ticks every second until it eventually wears off. And that's the last bit of the trident done. The knife on a string was a bit of a joke concept at first, but I actually like how it ended up turning out. The idea was to have a weapon that would throw a projectile straight out from the player and could be recalled back. In a very similar process to the katana, I made an entity that would fly in a straight line, and when the knife item was used, I set that entity to fly directly in the direction of the cursor. I then made that knife entity have two modes, so when the player left clicked, the knife got too far from the player or it hit a block, it would start retracting and fly back towards the player. I'm still debating whether or not to give the knife gravity. It'll make it less responsive when flying to the cursor and back, but would make more sense from a realism standpoint. On top of those three weapons, I also made a couple others, like the frozen sword, which would apply a freezing effect to enemies, slowing them down, a bow which fires arrows that leave trails of toxic clouds, and also a magic bomb which follows the cursor and explodes on left click. That was all that I really did this week. This is my first ever video on YouTube, and I'm really looking forward to capturing the process of making a game through this channel, even though we have started halfway through. For that, I would love any advice that you can give me, whether that be on improving videos, adding content to the game, or even so much as cooking tips. I'm always open to those. I'd love to hear from you. We have an early days Discord channel that I will link in the description, so join up if you can and send us a message. Plus, as this channel and the Discord grows, you'll hopefully get to meet other people who are into game dev, the project itself, or just generally a welcoming community. See you around!